What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Volks TV. We are doing something cool today. We're going to talk about cooling, engine cooling to be specific, oil cooling. Working on the bus on this one. We've got the regular old standard oil cooler, for regular shroud in there. We did put the 36 horse shroud, but it's just a regular old oil cooler. And it's just getting too hot driving around on these long trips in the summertime. It's cooking, man. It's getting like 210, 220 on some of these long trips. It's just too much. So we're gonna convert everything in there to doghouse cooling. We got our cool new shroud, we got all our tins, we got our new cooler, we got this crazy fan that we'll get into in a little bit. So right now we're just gonna talk about the parts that we're gonna need, and then I have to do some more testing temperature stuff wise before we put this on, so we have something to compare it to. So we'll do a part 2 actually putting all this stuff on and testing it, but for now, we'll go over the things that you need to convert your car to doghouse cooling. We'll zoom in here and we'll look at all these parts. Come on, let's do it. So the first thing to know about cooling on an air-cooled motor, I mean, if you're brand new to this and you've never seen one of these motors and you don't know how they work, there's no water, obviously. I mean, you probably know that, but the oil is everything in this motor. The air blows across the oil cooler, cools the oil off, the oil cools the motor off, the air blows past the heads, cools everything off, real nice. In the earlier cars, the oil cooler is in the center of the fan shroud, right here. And the air blows inside this. There's a bunch of little things that change the direction of the air and they swirl it around, they make it go where it needs to go. But it blows basically through your oil cooler, which is situated kind of this way, roughly right there. So the numbers 1 and 2 cylinders, or no, the numbers 3 and 4 cylinders rather, because it's this side, driver's side, they end up getting a little bit warmer air because it's got to pass through the oil first. And that's, can be a problem in hotter climates. The engine's going to run a little hotter. So in the later years, they came up with what's called the doghouse cooler. And what that does, it's kind of like that. The doghouse shroud puts the cooler out back, behind. You can see it's clearly out of the way, so the air can blow through. It gets the same temperature air all the way across the motor, and it directs some of the air back through the cooler here, and then by way of some clever ducting, this actually goes in here just like that, and that'll exit through the back of the motor like this onto the top of the transmission, where it can get sucked out underneath the motor and thereby cooling the engine more effectively. And so we're going to swap everything that we have on the bus, which is the old style, it's just a regular old cooler, to the larger, relocated, better cooling doghouse system. And when we do that, we gotta install one of these crazy new fans from Android Air-Cooled Technologies. Put a link down below. Check this video out. This is his video of testing this, and you can see the air coming. It's sucking air in towards the middle, and then he pulls that paper. Look at that. He pulls it right over to the side, and it actually blows the air across, where it needs to go sideways. So it's sucking it in from the back of the shroud and it's blowing it across the engine and the cooler and everything. This is 25% of the weight, so it's actually 75% lighter than a stock fan, which I'll show you in a second. We'll compare them. So it's much lighter. It's made out of a composite material, proprietary. You won't tell me what's in it, but it is a little flexible. So it's under load, it'll flex like it needs to, but it's pretty rigid, so it's going to move a lot of air without a lot of deflection. It takes less horsepower to turn it. It blows more air than a stock fan, so it's actually more efficient. So you might pick up a little bit of horsepower, you're going to pick up a little bit of cooling, a lot of cooling. So we're gonna test that, we're gonna see. I haven't heard of anybody that's running one yet. A lot of people have them and are excited about them, but nobody's actually got one on a motor yet. So hopefully we can be the first ones. I know Mario's got one he's gonna put on the dyno with all kinds of different sensors and temperatures and wind speed stuff. So we'll defer to him for the high-tech demonstration. We're gonna do like a real world, how hot does my buzz get? It's been over 100 degrees out here lately, so I'll take it for a nice hot drive this weekend and see how hot we can get it. I'll put, I'll load it down with all my camping stuff, and I'll put my kitchen on the side and everything we can do to get that thing hot. Worst case scenario, we'll get it as hot as we can. Then we'll swap everything over, and then we'll try it again with the same loadout and see if we can get a cooler temp. So, pretty neat stuff. We'll get this all on that motor, and I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. So I'll show you how to put all this together on the table here, because it's a lot easier to do it not in the motor. And then we'll have to pull the motor and put everything back together, and do it again. But at least you can see how it goes together, so you can kind of get an idea. So let's zoom in a little bit closer, and we will assemble the whole setup here, and you can see what it looks like. Alright, so the most important parts of your cooling system are going to be these back tins and obviously the oil cooler. This oil cooler is brand new. It comes with the doghouse adapter. So this is the stock oil cooler location. This sort of pushes this, relocates it backwards. So you're going to have two new seals on the case. You're going to have a couple of new studs because they need to get longer to make up for the difference here in the thickness of that. And then you'll have two seals between here. The kit comes with everything you need. This is going to mount on the motor, but you also need to mount this very important little piece, which is called the Hoover bit. And this sits just like that, and this deflects the air towards the cooler instead of just down. Air's going to want to go where the easiest place is. The easiest way out. So you don't want it to escape down through the bottom. You want all that air going through your oil cooler. So put this piece on first. This foam kind of helps it make a nice seal. And then these are going to thread in. Well, they should. Alright, nice and tight with this little fin pointing down, and you'll see why in a minute. So you would first put this on the motor, bolt it down nice and tight, not too tight. You want to squish those seals, but not too much. And the two bolts that hold this in, you're not going to be able to see that, but there's a seal in there, and you don't want to squish those too much. You just want to put enough tension on there. So you kind of go around like a wheel and tighten them down, a little bit each one at a time until it's, good and snug. And then this is going to bolt, like I said, to your motor, just like this. The next thing, so we'll just, blah blah, pretend that's on the motor. The next thing is going to be these little tins on the back. These you're going to have to trim to fit. As you can see, I've had to cut the little hole for that. And then this one needed a little trimming and a little reshaping, and make the hole bigger. You got to test fit this stuff before you try to put it on. It's very important. So I've test fitted it. There's a little rubber seal they give you too that goes in here. Don't forget that, because this one goes inside that one, and you want to make sure that it's sealed all the way around. You don't want that air getting out into your engine bay. It's just going to get hot. It's going to get sucked in by the fan. So make sure that seal's on there good, and it just presses on. That comes with the kit as well. So let's flip this thing around, and I'll show you how to put that thing, all this stuff on the back. Before we flip this around, one more thing I want to show you. You got to put your throttle tube in there. I've got this sweet one I got off of the Samba. I'll try and find a link for it and put it below. I bought it forever ago. But it's Teflon filled, and it's got a little roller on there to keep the cable from wearing against the edge of the tube. And then it comes out the back and it's got Teflon on it. I always put a little hose clamp on the back too, just to keep it tight for moving. This one also has a hole for a screw. So we'll get that screwed on before we put the rest of this tin together. But I was excited about that. I wanted to show that to you guys. So let's get it flipped around and we'll see what we got. So the kit's gonna come with this foam also. Another piece just like on the little Hoover bit. And that is for this bit right here, so that you can get it, you know, once it goes over the outside here, you want that to seal, just to keep air from coming out the wrong way and getting sucked back in. You don't want hot air getting sucked into your fan. This one has one little bolt which goes here. I like to use these little Allen heads with a washer. It's just a little bit easier than the little cheese head flathead screws. And these are grade 8. I sell these. I'll put a link down below to those as well. They're real cheap. Make a good deal. Do the whole engine. They look really nice too. And then you have the bottom piece with that seal. I had to trim quite a bit off of that, so I have to use a big washer down here to get it lined up. But that's the first piece you're going to put on. And I've already tested it, so I kind of know where it goes, but you know, you'll have to trial and error to get yours where you need it. And I made this little Allen wrench tool for those that is real short, so it fits in tight spots. You want to make sure this gets a nice tight seal in there, like I said before. So this one can be a little tricky. You want to get that lined up just there. There we go. It's good and tight. You know, no gaps anywhere back here or around here. When we put this, where's this gonna go? This is gonna go like that. So when you slide this on, oh, is that gonna be in the way? So that slides on the motor just like that. And then we have another washer with an Allen. That one's going to be tricky. You might have to do this out of the car if you have a bug. But with the bus I got that hippie hatch, so I should be okay. But then you just tighten this one down right here, and that's going to lock the cooler to the shroud. This stuff is all tight, you know, sealed up there, and you can see in there when the case comes up, you know, and it's going to cover all this. It's going to sit right in there. That keeps that air from blowing out the bottom there, that little seal. So, and then you have this one. I don't know if you're even going to be able to see that whole thing here. This is the tin that goes over the transmission. And this one has this little seal that I'm going to have to glue on just with a little silicone. And then that's going to slide slide up there like that. So if this was glued on, that's going to seal and keep the air from coming back into the engine bay. Throttle cable comes right through here. Then you've got your under the shroud over the head tins that cover up everything in the back. Nice and tight, nice and sealed up. Keep all that air where you want it. Alright, let's zoom back out. Alright, well there you have it, gang. Doghouse cooling on a Type 1 upright engine. You can put that in your Bug, you can put that in your bus, you can put that in your Ghia. That doghouse cooling is going to help cool you off in these hot summer months. Even if it's not that hot where you live, it'll help you keep the temperatures down where you want to keep them. You know, between like 180 and 210, I think is pretty good. I like to stay on the lower side of that, especially in the bus, fully loaded down. We got that Andrig fan in there from Andrig's Air-Cooled Technologies, and I'll throw a link down below. You know, again, we'll test that out and see. That just mounts up to your alternator just like normal. He probably, by the time you see this video, he'll probably have it. There's a little, I don't know what you'd call it, like an adapter, an aluminum deal that is going to keep it from getting broken. And we're going to only torque that down to like 35 pounds. But I'll show you that in the next video when we install it on the alternator, which is already on the bus. I don't want to take it off right now. But we'll put that together and get this all done. I know that you've been waiting to see who picked the color, or who chose the color, or picked the color that I picked. And it was Jack Kuntz. He got the right answer first. He said blue. This is bluish. It was a lot darker blue before I hit it with the clear coat. So go ahead and send me an email, or shoot me a message and we'll get you the email. And you want a sticker and your name in the video. Yeah! We'll get this thing put on the bus in the next week or so here and do some actual testing on it. And we'll see, we'll see how it goes. Maybe the fan is perfect and works amazing, maybe not, but I don't know. We'll find out, and you'll find out with me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give me some likes, give me some comments. It really helps us out. We're trying to build this channel for you guys and trying to help you guys out. If there's something you want to see on this channel, let me know. If you've got tech tips you want to check out, you want me to do something, you want me to show you how to build something or work on something, I'll do my best. I don't know everything, but I can figure it out usually, so we'll learn together if we have to. Get you a t-shirt from the Teespring. Visit all the friends and all the places. And thanks for watching.